I am Matt, founder and CEO of LiveSchool, and this is the LiveSchool podcast. Our guest today is Nick Payne, principal at Huntingdon Area Middle School, and that's down in Huntingdon, PA. How's it going? Thanks so much for joining us today.
Good, Matt. How are you doing? Glad to be
I'm
here.
doing well. Thank you. Let's start off just a little bit more background on you. Do you mind telling us a bit more about how you ended up in education and specifically school administration?
Yeah, so I couldn't get away from education. My parents were educators, so I grew up around the education field. So that led me then to when I entered college in 1996, the fall of 1996, I went to Juniata College. Juniata College is right next door to Huntington uh, area school district and our buildings. And I got into elementary education, and I've been in education now for approximately 24 years. I have different experiences in education. My main experience is I was a middle school math teacher for approximately 11 years in or 11 12 years. I lose track over time. And then I was an assistant principal at our high school, Huntington Area High School, for about 6 years. And I am now finishing my fifth full year as the principal here at the middle school. So I actually came back to my roots where I taught math for so long here at the middle school. And now I'm back as the principal. And
Nice.
as far as education goes, I have my master's degree. I got to have some shout outs to some of my alumni. Master's degree from Penn State University, and then I do have my letter of eligibility to be a superintendent from St. Francis University.
Fantastic. And gotta ask, what was that transition like going from the high school admin level to the middle school? Any lessons or observations?
Yeah, so it was difficult. And why I'm saying it was difficult is because you build relationships and rapport with your colleagues that as a teaching colleague. So coming back to the middle school, I had to switch gears now. I'm not necessarily a teacher colleague. I'm their administrator. I'm their direct supervisor. So oftentimes having those tough conversations with teachers that teachers that you've built relationships with and good rapport with, sometimes it's difficult.
Mm.
But I will say that I think they are very appreciative of me being here, um, just because I'm familiar. I have the institutional knowledge, and my roots are grounded in this community.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I'm sure that kind of shows through, especially your background as a teacher in the very school, you're now leading. That's a pretty cool coming full circle. Can you talk a little bit about how your team decided to, focus on a school-wide positive uh, motivation system for students?
So when I was at the high school, we didn't have anything. And it was it's a state initiative, right? It's a state push to bring in positive school wide. So at the high school, I was the assistant principal at the time when we brought it to the high school. And I will say I'm extremely proud of the way the teachers implemented it at the high school and our student team, our set team, the empowerment team. It was really the kids and the teaching staff that brought it to the high school and were able to implement it with success. And actually, within a full year, which is really unheard of at a high school secondary level, our high school was recognized by the state for implementing Tier 1 with fidelity, which is awesome at a high school level because
Yeah.
it is really hard for the buy-in. So when I came over here, back over to the middle school, the PBIS was at the middle school for multiple years, but we were never able to check off the box, hit that score to be recognized by the state of Pennsylvania. So the first year that we were officially unofficially recognized was our COVID year. Uh, they, when I say unofficially, we didn't have, we didn't get any banners or anything like that, but they did the um, tier fidelity check that people from the state come in and they go through the school, and we met the standard. But I believe then the 21-22 school year was actually the first year that we were officially recognized by the state of Pennsylvania for implementing PBIS with fidelity. So, again, super proud of where we were and where we've come so far with
Yeah.
the PBIS, where, again, previous administrators prior to me being here as a principal were not able to get the job done with um, having being state recognized. Where now we are in year 3 of being recognized. Last year we were recognized, so again for continuing to implement PBIS with fidelity. So, and then this coming year we're going to be, I believe in May, people from the state will come in and again go through their assessment to see if we're going to continue to be recognized.
Yep. That's great. Let's talk about what it's like day to day with this program in place. What are, maybe to start on the fun side, like what are some of the really cool, things your students are earning through your PBIS program?
Yeah, so that's really taken off here at the middle school. We shifted gears on a couple years ago. We shifted gears on how we were rewarding kids. Usually, a couple years ago, it was put a ticket in a box, and we would only randomly pull tickets, a couple a month, and then at the end of each marking period, we'd have a little bit bigger prizes that kids would have a chance to win. So when we thought times have changed, we got to get in. We got to get into the digital world, make things a little bit easier for our teachers with being able to reward the students, but also giving the students more opportunity to earn items for the reward. So each Friday, actually, right now, I have my secretary and our assistant principal starting to pull names and print things off from our store. So we have a LiveSchool store. So kids earn points based on our positive school wide, which our acronym is BEARCATS, which stands for Be Engaged, Act Responsibly, Care About the Team, and Safety. So as the teachers are giving kids points, they can accumulate those points and then they are able to purchase items from our LiveSchool store. And our LiveSchool store was set up by our assistant principal. It is through a Google form with images that students can go in there and pick items that they like. So I think your question was, what are some items that these kids can purchase? So I know this is a podcast and recording, but I know we're on video right now, but like we have a beanie here
Nice.
with the Bearcat paw on it that kids can earn so many points and they can purchase then a beanie. Um, we have cat gear or Bearcat. We have T-shirts and sweatshirts that students can purchase. One of the bigger tickets that we found from student surveys last year was they were indicating they want maybe a water bottle. I know the big thing right now is like the
Oh yeah.
Stanley and things like that. So it's not quite a Stanley, but we have water bottles that students are able to purchase. So that's really on a weekly basis. The kids can purchase every well, they can purchase throughout the week, but every Friday we run the store and try to get the kids their items. Other big items that the kids purchase, they like lead, mechanical pencils, lead for the mechanical pencils, and just different gadgets like that for the kids. Now, our bigger items, we do bigger rewards at the end of each marking period. So at the end of this first marking period, we heard that those big beanbag chairs were a hot item. So we purchased a couple of those beanbag chairs to give out. So how we do that is the tickets or the kids can purchase um, raffle tickets for 5 points, and those raffle tickets are put into then a drawing at the end of each marking period. So some kids actually store their points up and then purchase a bunch of raffle tickets to be able to have a chance to win the beanbag chairs. This last marking period, we gave some AirPods or out. Um, I think the third marking period, we're going to give some gift certificates out. And at the end of the year, it's usually a TV that we purchase, and the kids have an opportunity to uh, win a TV through the raffle. So we use our PBIS and our LiveSchool hand in hand to be able to reward our students.
Those are really cool. And yeah, I guess if someone's listening, they won't see some of the stuff you showed on camera. But I gotta say, whoever does your graphic design, those are especially the shirt you showed, those are really cool. I bet kids really like that stuff.
Oh, they do. It goes off the shelf pretty fast.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I know we're getting into spring, but I just got wind that some kids are purchasing the beanies. They wanted the beanies,
Uh-huh.
and we have sweatshirts too that kids can purchase. Now, obviously, those bigger items are a little bit more points, so it does take time for the kids to get to that level. But yeah, this is year two of the store. Again, I got a shout out to my assistant principal. He brought the store idea. He brought the idea of being able to have the kids purchase through a Google form. So it has really gone well over the last couple years, and we didn't have that in place in the previous years.
Talking about just kind of like the rollout. I mean, getting an entire school on board with a system like this isn't easy. So, what kind of strategies did you use to kind of navigate the bumps and curves, and any surprises or kind of aha moments in terms of trying to build the momentum?
Yeah, so I'm gonna say like it's not perfect, right? And just like any school across the country, uh, there's obstacles, and we still have those obstacles today. Uh, so it's talking about buy-in and things like that. We have a tier one team that meets once a month to plan these events. We have what we call PBIS coaches that help with the prepping and planning of bigger events that we hold throughout the day. For example, we have, or not throughout the day, throughout the year. For example, we have a what we call a mini champ coming up tomorrow, which is it's a celebration through PBIS, but the mini champ is kind of very similar to the Penn State's Thon dance thon that they raise millions of dollars for. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Penn State and their thon, but here at Huntingdon, in our Huntingdon County, we have our local schools that do what we call a mini champ to raise funds for local families that are struggling through some health issues or some devastations in their life. But so we have where I'm getting at is our PBIS coaches help organize that. The team helps organize those events, but also comes usually on a yearly basis at our beginning of the year faculty meetings. We have updates. We have the rollout. We have reminders of what the PBIS is, what our Bearcat expectations are about being engaged, act responsibly, caring about the team and
Yeah.
safety. So it's just that continued communication with staff. As administrator, I know at a faculty meeting, hey guys, like come on, we need to increase our the points that are being handed out. And we still have, like I said, struggles with teachers doing that, but it's just like, you know, continue reminding them of, you know, the why. Why are we doing this? And really, the why is middle school kids are still developing mentally and physically, and they're not adults, and their brains are wired differently than adult brains. And we have to teach the kids the expectations in order for them to follow it. And it's just not teaching them once, it's continue to teach and teach and teach and reteach.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of that why, have there been any cool moments where you feel like, this positive system you've created really made a difference in the classroom or with a student? Like any memorable stories that kind of stand out for you?
I do have a couple moments that I can reflect on. When I was a high school principal, there's one that really stands out with me, and I think I shared this before. Um, is that when it first rolled out, I had a senior girl at an away football game, just hanging after the football game, just hanging back in the stands at the student section, just hanging back. The game was over, everyone left, and I'm like, well, what is she doing just hanging back here? Well, here, what she was doing was she was cleaning up all the garbage at the in the student section, and she came out. I asked her what she was doing. She's like, Mr. Payne, I'm trying to earn some live school points. And I thought, man, that's unbelievable. I mean, that was just outstanding. And at the time, it wasn't live school points; it was our positive Bearcat Bearcat expectation cards. But connecting the two is that, again, the program was important to her, and she wanted to stay back and make a difference, and she got
Mm.
rewarded. Now, as far as here at the middle school, it's every day it's something. Honestly, like, super proud of the kids when just the other day I was walking in the hallway, and there was a piece of trash or paper on the floor where a girl walked by. I was following the girl. I was going to pick it up. I didn't have to say one word to the young lady, and she just went down and picked it up. Picked up the garbage, trash, threw it away. Yeah. Hey, thank you very much. I'm going to give you live school points for acting responsibly, caring about the team, and that's safety as well. So it happens every day. Cafeteria is a big one. I try to promote, whether you make the mess or not, clean it up. And I do see kids acting responsibly, caring about the team, and wiping their messes up. And it's become a routine for them. So even holding doors for kids, our kids holding doors for each other, just the little things that just makes a difference, and the kids showing kindness to one another, it goes a long way.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome to hear about that, especially at both the high school and the middle school level. You've had the experience of seeing what a successful system looks like in both. One follow up I did have for you was just you mentioned kind of the buy-in piece at high schools is always a challenge. Any special sauce you would attribute to in terms of the system you all built up there? Because it's something I think a lot of high school leaders, find to be a challenge. Like, PBIS, I'm just not sure it'll work here.
Yeah, so I would say there was, I think, three main components of that special sauce. What you're indicating. One, we had a team, and that team, we had real conversations during that team meeting, and that team meeting was a year long organization, getting things set up, and planning the rollout. So
Wow.
in those conversations were heavy conversations. Buy-in, not buy-in. Um, is this an administrative directive? Where is this coming from? So the team really took the bull by the horns and met with the faculty, got the faculty, communicated the expectations, communicated what we were doing as far as the PBIS, and that was one factor that led to, I think, a successful implementation. Another factor is we had a strong coaches that had a lot of energy, a lot of ideas that could bring to the table, and took that responsibility as a coach as like their primary job, even though it wasn't their primary job. But they again grabbed the bull by the horns, took it, and ran with it. Um, and again, I still attribute a lot of the success to that coach, um, in that team for the implementation to high school. And the last thing that was, I would say, probably the most powerful for buy-in was our students. It
Hmm.
came from our students, and to this day, I still think that at the high school it is successful and still running because of our students. Uh, we were able to bring a group of students together. We went to visited a local school that had PBIS running for a few years, and that local school was able to empower us, our students, and then our students were able to empower our staff, our faculty, and also the rest of the student body.
That's pretty unique. So the students actually got to sort of visit another school and see how they were doing things. Is that right?
Absolutely, that
Wow,
is correct, and
that's cool.
and they were able to. We pulled a video together.
Hmm.
The students created a video to share with our faculty and staff, as well as um, our student body. It was extremely powerful, and to this day, I know that they run I forget what it's called, but on Fridays they have dance party Fridays. That's what it's
Uh
called.
huh.
So
Nice.
in between classes, um, the PBIS team, the set team at the high school, the student team at the high school are responsible for organizing the music that's being played in between class periods as kids are transitioning.
Very cool. Very cool. I'd love to wrap up with a couple bigger picture questions, if that's okay. First one, wanted to ask about a bit of a debate in education and kind of get your take. And that is kind of this balance between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. So, on the one hand, we all want to kind of do the right thing and develop and grow, but on the other hand, we all like being recognized and rewarded. What have you learned having implemented these systems and grown them at two schools? What's your take on kind of how the two fit together, or which one's more important, or how do you see it?
Well, I'm gonna go from a kind of an educational piece of it is related to we really have to get down to the nitty gritty and find kids' passions and interests. If you want to talk about motivation, that's where it needs to come from, and that comes from I'm coming from I said an academic sense is, um, we have kids that can do school, are really good at school, book work, but where's their interests lie? What are they passionate about? And I feel that if we can find kids' passion and interests and be able to tailor their academics, their behavior, whatever that may look like, around their passions and interests, I think the motivation piece, whether it be intrinsic or extrinsic, takes care of itself. Um, I know that we have some eighth graders here that are really good with hands-on um, activities, and really what they're waiting for is to have the opportunity to head to our career in tech, uh, to get do vocational skills. They they struggle a little bit here in an eighth grade setting because it is primary academic and it's not
Books. Yeah.
and it's not around their interests and passions. You
Yep.
know, in here in Pennsylvania or in our school district, like, those kids don't have an opportunity to get to that vocational school until 10th grade.
Mm.
So how can we tailor their education at a younger age, to make it more hands-on or make it something that they would like to do later in life? I know as adults, we are always changing jobs, and kids may not know what they want to do later in life, but I still think it's extremely important to explore those ideas and be able to try to expose and if need be tailor their education around to their passions. And I would say you do that, and then that motivation piece. I believe it falls in place.
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense. And last but not least, if there was a billboard you could put up that every principal would see on their way to work in the morning, is there maybe a message or something you've come to really believe in your work as a school leader that you would want to share?
I am very passionate as the discussion I just had, about being able to have kids find their interests
Mm,
and be able to follow their dreams, whatever their dreams may be. And we
yep.
don't want to hold kids back, but I'm going to say this, and I know my teachers will laugh about this. Um, in the school setting, so you're the billboard question in the school setting. We're always counting down the days to summer, right? So,
Sure.
I mean, this is probably a cliche out there, and it's probably everywhere. But we had a former superintendent that created a sign that it's out by our district office that says, "Don't count the days, make the days count."
Nice.
So that's what we try to do every day here is make those days count. Make those days the most important days of the kids' education. Um,
Hmm.
and a lot of these kids need to be in school, and this is our safe place, and we're trying to make the most impactful, positive, uh, add a lot more words that uh, will help our kids be successful, and that's what we're trying to do here at Huntington.
Fantastic. Well, really appreciate you taking out the time, sharing what you've been up to, and especially the experience, helping build up these systems at two schools now. So thanks so much for joining the podcast.
I appreciate it, Matt. Thank you very much, and again, thank you for sharing the live school with us. And I hope to continue with this partnership here in the future.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Matt.